as those who are watching it on the replay. So I'm so excited. Tonight, our guest is Holly Z, actor, author, fitness professional, and advocate. An advocate empowering survivors and speaking for the voiceless. So, Holly, why don't you briefly introduce yourself and we'll be on our way.
Sure, Alan. Thank you for having me. My name is Holly Z. I am an author, actor, fitness professional, and a huge dog rescue advocate. But more than titles, I am someone who has survived something I never expected. A relationship with a toxic, malignant narcissist that nearly killed me. So I wrote a book called Gloves Off, was my way of turning pain into purpose. And it's a lifeline for anyone who feels trapped, confused, or ashamed the way that I once did. And because I'm also passionate about animals, especially rescue dogs, I use my voice now for people and animals, the ones that cannot speak for themselves. And I'm grateful to be here because the conversations that we're going to have hopefully will save lives, humans and dogs and cats, all animals. So thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that great introduction, Holly. So first, we'll be talking about, as I said, the book Gloves Off in a little while. But first, we'll talk about a few other things. Okay, so I want to talk to you about June DeGuiso, the filmmaker, and the WMIFF, the World Music Independent Film Festival. How did the two of you connect?
I had I had created a film, which surprisingly enough was about veterans. And I played an Iraqi war veteran who came back to the United States and could not fit in, had a lot of problems. It ended up being a 45-minute short film, and it was submitted to the WMIFF. So we were accepted, and I flew to Washington, D.C., which was awesome. And I won Best Lead Actress for that film. I was brought back the following year for a music video I was in, but it was really awesome. And that's how I met June. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I met him. I met his wife. I met so many people there. It was great.
Yes. I mean, my wife Randy and I, we have worked with June on a number of projects as executive producers, as well as actors, and we've attended the WMIFF a number of times as well. Yeah, okay.
He does a great job.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned what's the name of the project that you won the award for?
The name of the short film is called A Way Back In. Sometimes the only way back in is to go back out. That was the tagline I created.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Was that your first film, or did you have others besides that, before that?
That was the first film that I actually created and co-wrote, and I basically casted the whole thing myself. Found locations, directed some of it. It's cheaper when you do it yourself. So I ended up doing a lot of it myself, but I got amazing locations. I got an entire airport at Upland, and on my IMDb, you can see me running through the airport with a gun, chasing the bad guys.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, so you've had a number of opportunities in acting, screenwriting, and producing.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Do you have anything more to say about the A Way Back In?
It was a wonderful experience. My favorite part in that film was when we shot at the airport, but it was at night and we were off the runway. And there was an area of the airport that had tanks, army tanks, real ones. And we had fires going, and I was under the tank, and we had explosive sounds. And it was really, really amazing. That was awesome to shoot that way. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, we did that. I knew someone that had a plane there. Oh, and okay. Yeah. So it was a favor. I had known someone that knew someone that was in a motorcycle wreck, and I went to the hospital and looked after them. And then to repay me, they're like, what do you want? I said, the airport. Like, okay. So that was a great part of the movie, among other parts. We used a cemetery, all kinds of different things. A yogurt shop was given to us to use.
Wow.
Yeah, we won Best Cinematography, Best Lead Actress, Best Supporting Actress. I mean, this was in 2010. I don't even remember all the awards we won. And there were other festivals we had won also. It seems like 100 years ago because I've lived 100 lifetimes in that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's well. I'm glad that you managed, that you, as I said, got to win all the awards at the WMIFF and got to meet June and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I mean, that's how we, the two of us, recently met. He mentioned you and said that it'd be great, you'd be a great candidate to be interviewed on the show, and here we are today.
Yeah, exactly. And he did bring me back the following year to be a presenter. And at that same time, I was the lead in Ty Bless's music video, Nothing But Love. And when he flew out here, we shot that on Venice Beach, and that was awesome. That was really fun.
Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about being a certified fitness trainer. How did you get into that?
I actually started that in New York, in Manhattan. The mid to late 90s. I moved to New York in the 90s, right smack in Manhattan. And I started working at Pumping Iron Gym. I believe it was on 76th and Broadway underneath the Second Stage Theater. Oh. And yeah, do you remember that area? Yeah. There was a Zabar's over there. Area. Yeah. And so I was working the front desk, and I just got really interested in the trainers. I've always been into fitness. Okay. I took karate. I was a first degree red belt. I've always been into health and fitness and sports. So I just started training people. I started learning, and I flew out to LA, and I got my certificate as a registered trainer with the American Council on Exercise in the 90s. And back then I was training Carly Simon. I was training some of the heads in the financial district, Lehman Shearson brothers. You remember them? They were like a big deal. I had one of them. I don't even remember which one, but I had a lot of high-end clients, and I would go to people's homes and train them. And Carly came to the gym a couple of times, but people were coming up. We couldn't even train. So I'd go to her brownstone on Central Park West, somewhere around Central Park West.
Cool. And
she had me hooked up with Mia Farrow. I was supposed to start training her at that time, but that's the time the whole Woody Allen Soon Yi thing broke. So she really, that ended that. But I trained people there until I got married at that time. And I actually met my ex-husband through one of my clients that I trained. So that's how that came about. And during that time, I was getting into acting, and I started going to acting classes, and I ended up training for classes, which that worked out really nice too. And that's how that all happened. And then, I've been training people out here. I started my own niche. Is called Stretch, Rattle, and Roll. It's a program that I designed myself. Ooh. And I'm licensed through the American Arthritis Association and the National Academy of Sports Medicine, Zumba Gold, Strong, like a lot, because I like to learn. And I started this 45-minute program, and it's doing really well. So
yeah, great. Okay. Yeah. All right. So how many years were you in New York?
I was in New York 10 years.
10 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. And did you move back to Los Angeles after that?
Yes. I came out to LA, and moved right to Venice Beach.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, which reminded me of New York because it was a very busy area. At the time I was still married. So we came out here together, and him being a native New Yorker, he was from Brooklyn, like you, actually. I just realized, we picked a house on the busiest corner in Venice Beach, and that's where we moved to. And then we could hear all the traffic and see all the tourists come. And we felt like we were in New York, but at the beach.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's the beach that never sleeps, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it wasn't as dangerous then, it's different now, but it was cool. I liked it. It was very artistic and I loved it. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about your work as an animal rescue advocate.
I got into animal rescue back in around 2009, and it started when I was living in Venice Beach. I was divorced by then, and I was outside my apartment, and there was the cutest little Chihuahua running down the street with a leash dragging, and there was a gang of people running after him. And I'm on the phone, right? And I see him go by, and I'm like, hey, there's a Chihuahua that just ran by. And then like 10 minutes later, he's back, and he runs across the street to me. Like he's looking at me running across the street. There's traffic. And I bent down and he jumped up. He landed in my arms. And the people that were chasing him said, is he yours? And I said, he is now. And I kept him. And my neighbor, who was on her balcony witnessing the whole thing, she's like, we have to put an ad on Craigslist to make sure he doesn't belong to someone. I was like, no, I want to take him to Target and buy him some clothes, give him a home. Anyway, she did that. And what happened was, she knocked on my door the next night and she said, I found his owner, and I'm answering the door. He's got on a new camouflage outfit with a little hat in my arm. And she's like, I found his owner. And I said, oh no. She said, but I think she's going to give him to you. She wants to meet you at a park up in Venice Beach. So I went up there. It was night. It was raining. It was a really bad park. A lot of crips at that time in Venice Beach. And, but I wasn't afraid. So I went up there and she was there. She had a neck brace on. She had been through a lot. And she looked at us and she goes, you two belong together. You can have him. Oh. And I said, really? She's like, yeah. So we became friends, and we've been friends ever since. We still talk today. I named him Nacho because he looked like a little nacho running across the street. And when I told her that, she said, I had named him Taco. And when she tried to kiss him goodbye, he tried to bite her because he wanted to go home with me, which he did. And I kept him. Unfortunately, he developed a brain tumor about 3 years later, and he passed away. So that was my first loss with somebody so close to me. But because of him, I wanted to get him a wife. So I went to North LA Shelter. I saw this dog on Facebook that had a deformed leg. People had broken her leg and put cigarettes out in her ears. So I saw her on Facebook. I called the shelter. I said, can I come tomorrow? They said, she won't be here tomorrow. What do you mean? She won't be here. They were going to put her down. So I drove to the shelter. I rescued her right away. I named her Angel because she had the face of an angel. And between Nacho and Angel, I got heavy duty into rescue. I started rescuing with Jamie Ginsburg in New York, like all across. I would drive all over LA and get dogs. I was part of Project Flying Chihuahua, where I went and pulled 12 dogs from a shelter, and we got them all vetted, put them on a plane, and shipped them to New York because there are small apartments there. People needed small dogs. I did a lot of rescue, and then I had to step away from it for a while because it was just breaking my heart at how cruel people could be. I couldn't do it anymore. But then a few years ago, I got back into it, and I fostered a giant sheepdog. I fostered the cutest little dog ever, who passed away while I was fostering him. But not my fault. He had come to me with a disease that no one knew about. So I had to take him to the vet, and the vet found out. And anyway, I love animals. I play lotto. I pray that one day I win like millions of dollars. I'm going to move far away, and I'm going to have a ranch, and I'm going to rescue animals, and I will hire veterans to work there so they can make a living.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. Great. Having passion like you do for animal rescue.
Thank you.
Okay. And let's talk about your advocacy work in general. You know, people who maybe they can't really express themselves, but you're trying to encourage them to express, to talk about what happened to them, giving them a voice. So tell us about that.
I would like to start with the veterans. How's that? Because I feel like they're very, very voiceless. And I took some notes because I wanted to acknowledge Major Kevin Lee Lloyd of the Marine Corps and the burn pits. So his story has deeply affected me. He recently passed away. Are you familiar with him? Did you see his story? Whew, I was told he struggled to get the treatments he needed because of improper paperwork from the Marine Corps. He suffered from cancer linked to he was ordered into the burn pits during his service. And if you don't know what the burn pits are, I did not. And I figured there are a lot of people out there that may not. So I wanted to let you know they're massive open air pits used by U.S. military in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other locations to burn everything. Trash, plastics, chemicals, medical waste, tires, even entire vehicles. Service members were often ordered to work near them, breathe the smoke, or stand inside the contaminated areas. The fumes contain toxic chemicals, heavy metals, and carcinogens that have been connected to long-term respiratory illnesses, autoimmune disorders, and cancers. Many veterans have spent years trying to prove their illnesses were caused by the burn pit exposure. Some have been denied care, like he was, or delayed in receiving medical benefits, often because of missing paperwork, incorrect forms, or administrative errors. Kevin's story is heartbreaking, and it is one of the reasons I am stepping into advocacy. No Marine, no soldier, no veteran should ever be denied care because of a paperwork problem, especially when their illness came directly from working for the military. Right now, I am helping my brother from church get his DD-214 straightened out. He served 7 years. He has medals in marksmanship, all kinds of things, and they do not have his 7 years on his DD-214s, which means he can't get the medical treatment he needs. Wow. And when he retires, he won't get his full benefits. I've driven him places. I've driven him to Wilshire, to the Veterans Administration, all 4 different places we've gone. We can't get the DD-214 straight yet, so I'm not going to give up on that. And what really got me going on this, you can tell I have a great passion for this because I'm watching him, what he's going through, and people like him need a voice, people like me. If there were more than one of me, if a lot of us did this, they wouldn't be in the shape they're in. During COVID, I drove by, not on purpose, but during the COVID time, I drove by the Veterans Administration, and there were countless tents out there by the street, okay? And I wrote this down. Hundreds of them lined up one after another. They were immaculate. Every single one had an American flag. They were clean, they were organized, they were maintained with pride as if these men and women were still serving in our military. They were living on the street. And that image, I started crying because all over Los Angeles, we have thousands of tents filled with trash, drugs, chaos, but the veterans' tents were spotless. They had dignity even when they were suffering, and it sparked an angry fire in me that I will always have to be there for them. So these are the people who serve this nation. They should never be living in a tent on the side of a road in 108 degrees or 45 degrees in rain. Okay, so it changed me, and it made me realize that something in our system, not only in the shelter system, where that is so broken with animals, but it's broken with our veterans system. So I have a lot of things to say about that, but I also did want to go into, because I took some notes for you, for the viewers quickly, because a lot of people are interested in the dogs and the cats. So let me tell you, in the city of Los Angeles, The shelter system reported that in just the first 7 months of 2025, 909 dogs were euthanized. Perfectly good dogs. That's 4 lives every single day, just in the 6 city shelters. Okay, in 2024, they euthanized 1,224 dogs in 9 months, a 74% jump from the year before. It's a crisis here. Shelter staff and volunteers have admitted healthy adoptable dogs are being euthanized. Shelters are right now 200 dogs over capacity. So it's really bad here. If you look in the United States, 2025 across the United States, 164,000 dogs have been euthanized across the United States just in 2025 in the first 6 months. We need to do something. People need to know. This is why I speak out. When you add cats to it, the numbers of animals that have been murdered are 290,000 just in 6 months. So this is why rescue matters so much to me. Behind every number is a face. Like if you've read my book, My Dog Bandit, that recently passed away. Okay, a dog who loved unconditionally, who trusted, and who deserves full life. Dogs and even more cats are dying simply because they run out of time, out of space, or out of luck. Not because they were broken, not because they were unlovable, but because the system failed them. The system is overwhelmed. So when you foster or when you adopt or even when you share a post, when you rescue, you are literally saving a heartbeat that someone else would never get to meet. These animals are not statistics. Their stories, their lives, their souls, their hope, and they're counting on all of us to fight for them. So these are my passions.
Yeah.
Outside of my book.
Yeah, which we are going to talk about in a moment. And thank you for what you've said. And we have to figure out a way, to publicize this more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let people know more about what you do and why you do it. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. I'm learning more about you than it's great that that's having to get people on like such as yourself, and I can learn something I was not expecting necessarily to learn about. That's great. So it's great. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the main topic, gloves off, and tell us about the your motivation for writing this particular book.
You got it. All right. The motivation for this book came from an extremely raw place. When you leave a narcissistic relationship, especially one as psychologically abusive as mine, and I took notes, you're not just trying to understand what happened, you're trying to save your own mind. My journal was the only safe place I had to untangle the lies, the manipulations, the confusion, the trauma, and the spiritual warfare I was living through. The motivation became so much bigger. I could be walking to the grocery store from my car and have to just stop. Things would flood my mind that I had not seen or even known. They would just pop in my mind, and it was abusive what I had lived through the last 7 months. And I learned later that's PTSD. It causes a lot of PTSD. It causes brain damage many times for people who have been in a narcissistic relationship because it affects the amygdala gland in the brain. But, I wanted to give women and men, because they're narcissistic women as well as men. Although right now the statistics lean more, 65-66% are men, but they're still, all it takes is one narcissist. That's all it takes. So I wanted to help people that were going through what I was going through. I didn't want anyone to ever experience it to begin with. But if they did, I wanted to help them get through it so they wouldn't think they were crazy, because I was starting to think I was losing my mind and I didn't know why. So my book really isn't about me so much as it is about what can happen for someone else, because I chose to speak. I chose to relive those horrendous events, which in the book there's 73 of them, which I titled, instead of chapters, I titled them rounds. And that is because I used to box. So it's only natural that that would coincide with me, my vibe, my energy. I boxed for a long time. I loved it. Actually, it's a picture of me on the cover of the book from 15 years ago when I was boxing. I had a wonderful trainer. He was ranked second in the world. Yes. That's it. Jorge Diaz Urbino was my trainer. I took a fight at that time, but the other side backed out, which was, it was a blessing. After he started training me, it was a whole different training for the ring than it was what we were doing. So, yeah, I wrote that book for others, not for me.
Okay. Okay, are you going to read us a passage from the book?
Yes. I wanted to read you something that I did not know, and then if there's time, I'll read you something else. But I wanted to know how many women are murdered during the 7 times of back and forth, because most women or men try to leave 7 times before they finally break free. About 30 to 75% of intimate partner homicides happen after the victim has left or is in the process of leaving the relationship. This is from the CDC and the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The most dangerous time for an abused woman or man is in the weeks or months after she leaves, when she signals she's leaving, when she no longer engages in the cycle and the abuser realizes they've lost control. A woman in the U.S. is murdered by a current or former male partner every 6 hours. 1 in 3 women murdered in the United States is killed by a current or former intimate partner. The risk of homicide increases by 500% when a gun is present in the home. Why? Because abuse is about control. And when control is threatened, the abuser may escalate to fatal violence. So they say a woman leaves and returns up to 7 times before she breaks free. But what most people don't know is many women don't make it to the 7th time. It's when she tries to leave, when the control slips and the rage ignites. That's when too many women are murdered for daring to say enough. So that's one excerpt. Do you want me to read a second one?
Yes, sure.
Okay, this was written by therapist John T. Kokoris that added some into my book, and I thought it was excellent. I'm not going to read the whole page for time's sake, but he worked in a mental health hospital for 3 years and was a licensed therapist for 25 years. He is now retired. He has worked with both the narcissist and their victims for over 3 decades. He said, here we go. The love for themselves is so woven into their self-view that it is nearly impossible to overcome. I have attempted to help the narcissist by using standard counseling methods and biblical principles. I have never seen one make a significant change. So if someone is in a relationship with a narcissist, I will tell you, do not think you are going to change them. They don't change. They will destroy you.
Yeah. Can you quickly tell us the few red flags that tell that somebody is a toxic narcissist?
Yes. Yes. I'll start with the worst one that was for me. It was the mirroring. They study you. They see you and they like what you have. They like your energy. So they start studying you like a book, and they come to you and they have your values, your faith, everything that you like, they like. But it seems so real because they're such a performer. They're amazing performers. They should all win Oscars. And you feel so connected, and you feel like, this is my soulmate. This is who I was supposed to be with. This is who God had for me, especially if they're the ones that use religion to get to you, because God put us together. They hide behind religion. They hide behind anything, but they become you. So when you look at them, you're thinking they're great, but you're loving the image of yourself, the positive, happy, helping other people. And then after you're with them and they feel like they have you, they let the mask come off, and they're not at all who you thought you fell in love with. They're a monster. They're something completely different. And then the abuse starts. So they're very charming. They generally will walk ahead of you. If you're in a relationship and you notice that your partner walks ahead of you, not always, but sometimes that can be a sign of a narcissist. They want to be the center of attention. Every ex that they talk to you about, they have nothing good to say about. That can be a sign of a narcissist. It's important to watch the signs. Watch the fruit they bear. Don't listen to the words.
Very good, very good. I know that you can go into that in a lot more detail, but
yeah.
And by reading Holly's book, you will definitely learn all about that. I mean, I didn't know that there was such a classification of a person like that, but now I know. Very, very important to recognize when a person is
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll make you think you're crazy. They're great at gaslighting. You know, all your friends, they'll be so jovial and wonderful around, so your friends fall in love with them, and behind closed doors, you know, they're a monster to you. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Nice. Yeah, fantastic. And by the way, people, you can purchase gloves off at Holly's website, which will repeat later, but I'll say it right now. Anyway, it's at hollyz.me, and you can purchase it through there.
Yeah, I have the link to Amazon on there, Barnes & Noble on there, and Ingram Sparks. Or you can go directly to Amazon. You don't have to go through my website, and just type in gloves off, Holly Z. And my website, the link does go directly to Amazon. So get it however you want it.
Yeah. So it's
and I do have a contact button on my website. You can click the contact button and you can email me directly. So
yeah. Okay. It's right now for those watching the video, you know, it's Holly, and you can see it on the screen, hollyz.me. Okay. Well, okay. Is there anything additional you want to say about the book?
It covers everything. I went into the DM5 and the DM5-TR and got the clinical signs of narcissism. I went into biblical scriptures to list those signs of narcissism. I gave my own personal testimony. Everything that I speak, from the dogs to the veterans to my story, it's my story. This is what I've been through. This is what I've seen, what I feel. And I'm just here to help people. And when I escaped from the narcissistic relationship, and he did try to hit me, and if he had because of the boxing, thank God, I had really good reflexes and I got out of the way. But I felt the wind come straight down the front, just like that. So it would have busted my whole face. So, and like when I talk to you about it right now, I have sort of a blackout. I go blank. It is PTSD from things like that. But this book covers everything. If you look at the reviews on Amazon, I've gotten 9 5-star reviews so far. The book's only been out about 2 months. But the reviews themselves have brought tears to my eyes because people get it. So go read the reviews before you buy it. And then I actually have some excerpts from the book that you can read on Amazon. And once you read it, pass it on, you know, take what you need and give the rest on.
Yeah. Well, as I said, thank you for that. And thank you for, for writing this book to reveal, you have to be a really strong person to be able to reveal so much about yourself and what you went through.
Thank you. I didn't know anything about narcissism. That's the thing. People throw the word around. Everybody's a narcissist. If somebody's impatient, they're a narcissist. And I had no idea. I just knew when I escaped out of that relationship, something wasn't right in my head, and I knew something was desperately wrong, but I didn't know what. And when I found out it is something called narcissism, and it's dangerous and it's deadly and it kills those involved, if not from a contact hit, the stress kills. And that's one thing I do in my fitness classes. We do breath work, exercise is very important. So it's just so important. I had to bring awareness so people would stop calling everyone a narcissist.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you for that. Now, for a change of pace.
Yes.
We mentioned June Diso before, the filmmaker. He has the WMIFF. He is always giving people, chances. That's how my wife Randy and I got into acting in his projects. Yeah. So, but what he did, he wrote a song about our guest tonight. The song is called Miss Holly. So we're going to play that now, but stick around because we'll be back to talk about it briefly after the song. So here we go.
It was 2010 when I first saw your face, a spark in the room full of talent and grace. We gathered together, first festival night. You sat beside me, felt something was right. My wife was there too, and you smiled so kind, but you left a quiet echo deep in my mind. You shone like a star with dreams in your eyes, a soul full of fire, a heart brave and wise. Miss Holly, the girl I adore, the one I wish I'd met before. Through all the years and all the pain, my silent love still speaks your name. Even if I'm just a friend to you, my heart holds something pure and true. You came back again, year after year, with laughter and stories that I love to hear. I kept my feelings locked away, afraid the truth would drive you away. From afar, as you search for love, praying for guidance from heaven above. You gave your heart, but it broke each time. Still you rose again, strong and sublime. Miss Holly, the girl I adore, heart holds something pure and true. Now the seasons change, but my heart stays the same, wrapped in a memory, locked in your frame. Your laughter still lingers like a sweet melody, a soulful reminder of what's meant to be. In dreams, you dance like the sun, melting snow, a timeless connection, forever aglow. So here's to the moments, both bittersweet, a song played softly on repeat. As the years go by, I'll still write this line for Miss Holly. You'll always be mine, though life takes its turns and we drift far apart. You've carved out a home within this old heart. Miss Holly, the girl I adore, the one I wish I'd met before. Through all the years and all the pain, my silent love still speaks your name. Even if I'm just a friend to you, my heart holds something pure and true. So here's to you, Miss Holly, my muse. In every verse, it's you I choose. No matter the distance, no matter the fate, you'll always be cherished. It's never too late.
Play with permission of June Giso. I'm going to get that out there. But it's a lovely song, isn't it?
It made me cry.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. And the picture you had of Bandit and me, you know, he was very important during the time I was trying to escape, and he just passed away recently. So,
yeah. Okay.
Thank you, June, if you see
Yeah,
this.
thanks, June. Yeah. So, so what advice can you provide for people who want to emulate what you do?
I took notes. I've been really good at note taking. If I can stop crying over the song. Whether it's writing a book or telling your story, surviving trauma, or advocating for people or animals, start with the truth. Keep it real to your story. Nobody has your story. Keep it real. The truth of who you are, the truth of what you survived, the truth of what you feel called to share. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need money. I certainly didn't have it. You don't need approval from anyone. You need honesty, courage, and one step at a time in the direction of your purpose, and document everything. your journal, your thoughts, your memories, even the messy parts, because your mess can become your message. Mine did. Okay, don't wait to feel ready. When I first moved to New York, I had nothing and I slept on the floor. And when I trained the owners of the acting school just to get classes, when I wrote the book, none of this happened because I felt ready. I was not ready. I was not ready to write this book. I was a mess. But it happened because I knew I could not ignore the calling on my life. So don't ignore the calling on your life, and surround yourself with people who lift you up, who lift up your spirit, people that do not drain it. Keep away from the people that drain you. I lost years to the wrong people. Now I protect my peace. I guard it. My life depends on it, and so does yours. And life goes fast. There's no guarantee of the next second. And finally, trust that your voice does matter. I never thought my voice mattered. I'm just one little person, right? But I guess it does matter because I'm here. So your story, your pain, your resilience, someone out there needs to hear it. You don't have to change the whole world, but you can change one life, one person, one animal at a time, and then another and another and another. That's how impact begins. Everything that I've done has come from courage and faith and belief that God never wastes suffering. If you feel called to do this kind of work, answer it. Someone's breakthrough may come from your calling and you answering it.
Thank you, Holly. That's great. Yeah. And as we can see, June is here in our audience right now. So, yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I posted his.
Oh, there he is. Hey, June. Yeah. Your song's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, June.
Now that you made me cry. Oh, welcome to beautiful song. And June said that he was in page 100 of my book. And he thought if anybody could have written her a song, it could have been this guy, because this guy was well known. He was Grammy nominated. And June got so upset that he never wrote a song for me, that June wrote a song for me. And it means more than any song that fake person would have written.
Yeah. Okay. And once again, go to hollyz.me to get in touch with her and purchase a book and everything else. So I'd like to thank Holly for being here tonight. And
thank you, Alan.
And also thanks to June for dropping in. And we played the song with your permission. It's really great, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said this episode will be repurposed and to be on other platforms such as Spotify and also
Yes TV.
So stay tuned for information on that. So with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.